How we doing today, folks? It is I, Joseph Stones. I'm here with your champ, Garrett, and our special guest, Mitchell. How we doing today, guys?
We're doing.
We got a special show. We're doing DC movies.
I have been waiting for this. Probably me personally, just as long as you were waiting for the MCU.
For the MCU ones?
Oh yeah,
well,
DC. Love me some DC stuff.
Well, you know, like I've always been a Marvel fanboy, but there's special place in my heart for DC.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to flat out say it, like especially with the MCU, like they've got the stranglehold on live action movies.
Oh, now they do, but for a while it was DC that did.
Yeah.
But before we get into all that, let's take care of some business. Garrett, we got some sponsors we want to
thank. We want to thank all the sponsors. Rockin Horse Tattoo, Seasonal Sports, Dipping. You guys best. You make the show happen. We appreciate it.
Don't we have a new one on there too?
We will have a new one up here soon, which is going to be Bostwick's Liquor in Rome.
Ooh,
we appreciate them jumping on. If you're sitting at home watching this, you should have some wine or some liquor from them, because there's absolutely
depending on how froggy you want to leap,
yeah. We'll have their thing up here soon. Going by the next show. And,
now the other thing before I get into some news and we get into the bracket is, Garrett, I want to issue a personal apology to you. I wish Z was here so I could apologize to Z also, and to everybody else for the way I've acted over the last couple months when I held that title. I've done a lot of self-reflecting. I've been just trying to find my inner peace, and I'm really coming to the conclusion that violence is not the answer. I was acting like a complete jackass, and I understand why you did what you did. I should have never treated you the way I treated you. And I deserve the ass kicking that I got, because you hit me. I don't know if you watched it all, Mitch, but you've known me for a long time, and that's not who I am, and that's not who I want to be. So I'm done with the champ stuff. Like, you guys still call me. I'm still the longest running champ that he's had. That for now, anyways. Till Garrett takes that title soon.
Yeah, I'm the. I don't want to sound like I'm copying like Miz is an Continental Run or anything, but I'm like the forever champ over here. Okay?
I don't see anybody. I don't see anybody taking that belt from you.
No, I masterminded the crap out of that.
You did. It was genius. And so
it is what it is.
So with that being said, all water under the bridge. First bit of news I want to get into is the pre-sale tickets for Spider-Man No Way Home.
I've never been so excited for a Spider-Man movie.
Right now, it's
I haven't.
It's the highest pre-sale ever, just under Endgame. It's well on track to make over $1 billion, which is something we haven't seen since COVID came. And it might end up beating Endgame eventually.
It might. I do. Are you excited for that?
Oh my God! Yeah, that's going to be a whole reset for the Marvel Universe.
Yeah. I have a prediction, and Roger Connor.
He's hoping Andrew Garfield, Tobey Maguire, and Tom Holland all make out at the end.
No,
that's what he was texting me. It's some weird fan fiction that Garrett's into. I don't think we need to bring it here.
We're gonna recreate the upside down kiss.
Yeah. Okay.
Three-way. Triple kiss.
I want a triple kiss. Damn it. No. Okay. I have a prediction. All three Spider-Man. Everyone thinks that all three Spider-Men are going to be in it.
Yes.
They'll go back to their universes, I think in either the mid or the very end extra scene, another Spider-Man will stand up, look around, not know where he is, take off the mask, and it will be Miles Morales, and he'll be stuck here.
Oh, my
God,
that'd be epic.
I disagree with that.
And he'll be like, what am I doing? Like, where am I? And he'll be stuck in this universe, and then we'll have two Spider-Men to then go.
I'll already tell you
it'll
why.
Blow brains out because Miles Morales will now be here, and that'll be a good way to introduce him where he was. Because I think it was good how they brought Tom Holland in, and they didn't need to redo the bite and Ben dying and all that stuff, and it'll be good as well to then Miles be like, yeah, I've been Spider-Man here for years, and all of a sudden now I'm here. Like, I think that's a possibility. I'm saying it while we're live on it.
Okay, so the only reason I'll disagree with that fan theory is because Miles Morales has already been introduced to the MCU.
Mm-hmm.
Because in Spider-Man Homecoming, when he's dealing with Donald Glover's Prowler mentions that he has a younger nephew, which is Miles Morales, if anybody who knows that. Now, Tom Holland was snapped for 5 years, okay?
Right.
So even if Miles Morales wasn't snapped, it would put them a little bit closer in age now.
Right.
To whereas even if Miles Morales shows up and was like, hey, I have these powers, what do I do? I don't think they'll do a multiverse Miles. If he's introduced, he will be of our universe already.
Solid.
But
I didn't want it to happen, and I didn't say anything because that happened way too many times. Oh, they should do this, and it happens.
The only reason I don't think they'll pull the trigger on Miles yet, too, is because Miles is leading their Into the Spider-Verse animated series, and that sequel comes out next year. I don't think they're going to want to have two
Miles
vehicles with him in it like that.
That's also solid.
And you have the fact that when Miles always shows up, it's like time to pass the mantle.
Correct.
Tom Holland's too young to be passing the mantle. He's still figuring out Spider-Man.
The other part of my Spider-Man news was they just announced this week that he is signing on for another trilogy of Marvel movies, which will make him he'll have the record for the most solo movies once he has Spider-Man 4.
Right. Then I'm really hoping that by that time he is, because he's had to they've leaned his character on other characters. Correct. You know what I mean?
Yep.
All the other three, like we talked about when Casey was on, and it was all like it was like Iron Man. Iron Man's gone, still leaning on like other characters. Fury and
Strange,
and now Strange, and it's
but I think which makes the most sense because he's a kid and that's what kids do. They need mentors.
So I'm hoping by the time
the other bit of movie news that caught my eye yesterday is they're coming out with a new Dracula movie. It's what's his the guy he brainwashed the human Ren. Hang on, I'll tell you in a second. It's what the hell? It's the human that he brainwashed.
Like you're talking about like just regular like Dracula
like Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Okay.
Renfield. Okay, the guy Renfield. Well, so now they're doing Universal's doing a Renfield movie. Okay. And the person starring as Count Dracula is Nicolas Cage. Nick Cage is Dracula. Man. Take my money. Like, I want to see this. Like, and like there's some other things, but like those were the big things for this week. I have my Spider-Man tickets already.
I haven't looked. I haven't got.
They the other night when they started selling them at midnight, it shut down like all the web pages, Fandango, everything crashed because so many people were trying to get it.
All right, so you want to get into it?
Let's get into it. So, let's start up here, and I think this is going to be an easy one. We're going to start with Suicide Squad, the original one, and The Suicide Squad.
You think this is going to be easy?
Between the two of those two?
Yeah.
Absolutely. The newer one was far superior to the original.
It had things that were better, but not overall just close out superior.
I'm not. I honestly don't know where I'm going on this one. I have to be talked into.
So like the first
one way or the other.
So the first one, what I really really liked about it was the characters in it. The characters I thought were phenomenal. Everybody was cast well, including Jared Leto's the Joker, who
You know how I feel about Jared Leto.
It's amazing. Like,
I love him.
Like his version of the Joker.
So, did you like that Joker? Because
I love Jared Leto's Joker.
Yeah, me and my friend Roger feel like we're some of the only people who love his Joker. I love it.
My favorite thing about him is he is the real life version of the animated Joker, the recent animated Joker. Like if you watch the animated movies, that's the Joker.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like he's not. Joaquin Phoenix, he's not.
No.
He's this sadistic psychopath who's...
But still gangster.
Absolutely. Yeah. And to be honest, like the way the Joker was originally written, if it was written today, it would be Jared Leto's Joker. And hate me for that opinion or not, that's where I stand.
Well, now you're talking to three guys who love Jared Leto's Joker, so so bring it. Let's go.
But
because
my issue with this movie is, so you were putting together a team to essentially assassinate Superman, but the team that you put together couldn't assassinate Superman even if they tried, and you're setting them into the most generic villain ever. Like I hated the villains, I hated the plot of this movie, and it completely ruined everything else. The best parts of it were the Joker parts. Whereas with the Suicide Squad, the way that movie opens alone, like, it's phenomenal. You have a Suicide Squad team literally just get, spoilers, dismantled in the most satisfying ways, most creative ways. And, like, you have big name stars just getting.
My only complaint with that scene is I wanted a little more Nathan Fillion.
Well, I was gonna say,
huge
like,
Nathan Fillion fan.
You got big stars like Nathan Fillion, Pete Davidson, like all these guys just getting completely, like, you're seeing chunks of brain and everything.
They explode.
And the fact that
It showed the expendability of the Suicide Squad. Like, they don't care about these people at all.
And then with Idris Elba, who's going to be on this list more than once, right?
Yep.
Oh yeah.
And
He's in the next matchup too.
And him
Totally
and
different movie.
John Cena's chemistry was beautiful. John Cena's Peacemaker. I cannot wait for this.
Preview just came out. I haven't even seen the preview.
I cannot wait for this show.
It's going to be a good series.
And Starro is the villain. Like, it just, everything that was good about the original Sans Joker was brought back. And, like, it's so much more fun than the original. The
it's
first
way
one,
more fun than the original.
It is.
And the plot's better. The villain is like.
All right,
I never thought I would see Starro in film, and he was done.
It was done very well.
To perfection.
It was done very well.
Like, and so, like, the Suicide Squad, I feel like it's a better movie all around.
Yeah,
it is. It is the superior movie. I will give it that. I mean, it's almost a carbon copy of the first one.
Just done right, because it's James Gunn.
Done better. The first one was still done very well. I mean, my biggest gripe with the first one is you picked Will Smith.
Right.
And then because you picked Will Smith, you kind of changed the character he was playing. Like, he doesn't wear his mask at all because you want people to know it's Will Smith.
Right.
Like, you have a guy who can speak and people know, oh, that's Will Smith.
Yeah.
You could have left his mask on and been truer to the character.
Yeah, he could have had his mask on 90%
Just
of the time.
have him walking around with a mask on going, and what's Philadelphia?
Yeah.
That actually would have been hysterical if he was just popping to that. But
so is that your vote, Mitch?
I'm going with the Suicide Squad.
I think
so
you're right. The way they executed it.
I am hoping, because now the internet is really pushing for the air cut.
I hope to God that
So if that happens,
because he says that, like,
he shot enough for a Joker movie alone.
Yeah.
All right. So don't even give us the air cut. Give us the Joker movie with Leto.
Yeah. Look
at
how much
give it to us.
the Leto scene changed. You know, Justice League.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Oh my God, I can't wait to get to that.
So we have The Losers, which a lot of people might not have seen, came out 11 years ago,
or know that it's a DC movie.
When I got this list, I went The Losers. I had to rewatch it last night, and as soon as it started, I was like, oh yeah, I remember this.
Yeah,
but I totally forgot that's a DC movie.
It's a DC.
I mean, it's DC's Expendables.
And it's star-studded. You have Jeffrey Dean Morgan, who later on went to play Thomas Wayne.
Yeah,
you got Chris Evans in there, who went on to be Captain America. You got Idris Elba in there, Zoe Saldana, who was Gamora. It's a fantastic movie.
Right.
Like, it's so much fun. Like, the scene where you got Chris Evans in that apartment building, and he's like, boom, and the snipers just shoot. Like, it's great.
It's a great scene. You know, like the music is cut perfect to it, and you know. And everything he says, you know, when he
that's up against Catwoman, and I only have one word about Catwoman, and it's garbage.
Okay. the only thing that was cool is actually in the opening credits of that, where they try to set up that since like, ancient time, like BC is like we're on the pyramid times, is that there's always going to be a Catwoman.
Right.
That was cool. I like that premise. Hey, I will smack you with this belt.
Oh, sorry.
All right, I'm talking. I understand what you mean though, because the rest of the movie is a snooze fest. Okay.
The only good thing about that movie is Halle Berry's half naked in it.
Yeah,
And that's what they wrote on. That was the movie. It wasn't about Catwoman.
So it's definitely losers.
100%.
But I liked the premise. Like I was like, oh, they're really trying to like set up a whole like Catwoman anthology type thing here, and then it was like, oh, this movie kind of sucks.
So this is an interesting one. Our next one, Dark Knight Rises versus Aquaman.
I have one complaint about Aquaman. One.
That Jason Momoa has too much clothes on.
I have two complaints about Aquaman. The octopus playing the drums. That was dumb.
You don't think he was good enough? Because you know what? There's a lot of octopi out there. That's the right word, right? Octopi?
Sure,
Octopi,
sure.
yes.
Sounds right.
Who don't have jobs. And the fact that they're employing this octopus in a movie, like, I feel like that's a great move by Warner Brothers.
Reprised his role from The Little Mermaid.
Yeah, dude, the diversity that they're including in their cast.
I know. Like, how long was it? Like 30 years he had to go between movies?
Between gigs.
Between gigs.
He's just been touring the Seven Seas since then. Like, so Jason Momoa's Aquaman, even though he is by far not like 60s, 70s original Aquaman, he's much more the 90s version with the harpoon hook Aquaman. I love this man. Like,
oh, he's
like
fantastic.
He's amazing. He's funny. He's serious. He's got acting chops for days. And what he has done with a character who historically has been the butt of superhero jokes.
So many
ever.
jokes.
It is the butt of a joke, but that was because of one animated series. Like, if you read Aquaman, he's a badass.
absolutely.
I mean, that whole arc with him and Wonder Woman
Jason Momoa,
and the whole war, that was great.
Absolutely.
The Flashpoint.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And what he has done with that character in the last 5 years and brought him to the forefront has made him a legitimate superhero, has been amazing. And this movie is so rewatchable. It's so much fun.
It's wicked.
And
my
it's
wife
just
loves this movie.
Oh, dude, like,
she's like, this movie
I
was
love it.
done
My
good.
kids love it. Now, The Dark Knight Rises, in my opinion, is the worst out of those three movies.
I will agree to that. I like Begins a little better than I do.
100%. And I love Tom Hardy.
Oh, Tom Hardy's
the choice that they made with
a gem.
With Bane.
He sounded like Dr. Z. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
That's my biggest gripe with that movie. He played a great character. He was awesome. That was a great villain. But that wasn't Bane. No. You had a chance to create an entirely new villain, and it would have fit the plot. It would have been great. It would have been something original to the cinema.
I am Gotham's reckoning.
Yeah, but since when is Bane? What is he, Russian? Like,
yeah, right. Like it just.
He did. He sounded
actually,
you guys know who Dr. Z is from like Johnny Quest and
actually in
Venture Brothers.
Dark Knight Rises,
he sounds just like him. You know, it's like Dr. Z. Like,
our former guest on the show, Brian, my sister's husband, is actually an extra in The Dark Knight Rises.
Oh, really?
Like when Bane's henchmen are going against the Gotham City Police Department at the end.
Yeah,
Brian is one of Bane's henchmen.
Oh, nice.
Movie.
So is that why? So then you're automatically going to go for Aquaman then, right?
Well, for Aquaman regardless.
Yeah, since you're against everything.
But I actually. Shout out to Brian. Today's his birthday.
Oh, happy birthday.
The big 40. He made it to 40. You old. I'm going to censor myself. He's 40. He's old as shit.
I look older than he does. It's all my gray.
Yeah. Anyways. So, Dark Knight Rises, they tried to do too much. They tried to do the Broken Bat storyline with, what the hell was it? when they had the earthquake in Gotham and No Man's Land, they tried to do, the Broken Bat, No Man's Land, mixing in Talia al Ghul with Catwoman, and they tried to do. Then you had
it almost Spider-Man 3'd, but didn't quite Spider-Man.
And don't forget, you got Joseph Gordon-Levitt's John Blake, was adopted and real name is Robin, and he knew Bruce Wayne was Batman because of the Ferrari. Like it almost did like what the Tim Burton and Schumacher movies did. It got too cheesy in the stuff. It tried to do so much.
Right.
And I had a countdown on my Facebook page for this movie for weeks going out. Like it's Aquaman for me. It's the better of the two films.
Yeah, The Dark Knight Rises, they tried too hard to follow the Joker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were riding on a coattail and tried to do too much, and it was too much.
I think their original plans may have been derailed a little bit by Heath Ledger's passing, and I don't know. It's not.
Yeah, it's Aquaman for me as well.
Yeah,
yeah,
yep, definitely
pretty
Aquaman
up there. It's just better. So now we're gonna switch down to what do we got here? So we got
Superman 2.
I put the Donner cut up there. I don't know if everyone has seen the Donner cut.
I don't believe I've seen the Donner cut.
It's slightly better, slightly less cheesy, slightly better than.
It does what the Snyder Cut does, but not to the degree of what the Snyder Cut does.
Yeah,
it just makes it a little bit better movie.
And then
we're doing Ultimate Edition of Batman versus Superman, correct?
I didn't put it there, but I mean, let's just assume that it's like the Blu-ray, the Ultimate Edition, with what was it, like another
half hour?
Half hour, right, of extra stuff. Regardless of that extra half hour of stuff, I thought Batman versus Superman was fantastic.
Fantastic. Batman vs Superman broke my heart.
You didn't like it.
I'm a diehard Superman fan.
Okay.
And I had such a build up for this. I mean, we were waiting for this since I Am Legend when you've seen it on the billboard.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they teased everyone back then.
And I had such a build up and I thought this was going to be so great, and then the fight scene was disappointing.
So the thing with Batman, I have been waiting my whole life for this movie, and me and Matt actually went and saw it together.
Okay.
And I remember walking out of this movie, and the feeling I had when I walked out of this movie was when, like, you get a phone call and it's like, hey, man, so-and-so just passed away. Like, it's that you can't believe what just happened. You got, like, a sick knot in your stomach kind of thing. And the Ultimate Edition fixes a lot of the things I didn't like about the original edition. Like, Ben Affleck's Batman is my favorite Batman.
I love Ben Affleck.
He's my,
like, the fight scene.
He's my favorite.
The Batman fight scene when he's going to save Superman's mom is cinematically it has been the most perfect representation of how Batman should fight.
That was
in my
a
opinion.
huge nod to the games. Huge nod.
The games and the animated series.
The way he just comes in and
like reaching through the floor. But that's how Batman would fight.
Yeah,
that's how Batman would fight.
Mm-hmm.
Like, in my eyes. And so, Superman 2 is Zod, correct?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. So
the trio.
Yes. Okay. So it's probably my favorite of the Chris Reeves Superman movies.
Yes, mine too.
The thing,
this one's actually harder for me,
and that's why this is hard for me, because if you would have asked me this question 5 years ago, it would have been Donner cut without a doubt.
Right.
But the fact that I've seen Batman vs Superman a few times over now, seen the Ultimate Edition, and seen everything that's come after, Superman 2 is definitely one of those movies as a kid that, like, you loved. Anytime it was on TV, like, you sit down and watch. And the portrayal of, I forget his name right now, that plays Zod.
Oh, yeah.
Famous guy. I forget who he is.
I keep wanting to say Malcolm McDowell, but it's not Malcolm McDowell.
Is it?
No, it's not. I can't think of his name.
I'll tell you.
It's killing me. It's good. And I know everything, all the other stuff he was in. Like he was in like Get Smart, and like just all this crazy stuff. Oh, what was this? It's killing me. See if I can be faster than the internet.
Terrence Stamp. That's what.
Terrence Stamp. Yeah, no, I missed it.
But he's pretty much Malcolm McDowell if you think about it.
Yeah.
But like his portrayal of Zod was amazing. Like.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like if you watch like the show. Like Smallville, like Callum Blue's, like younger Zod was good.
Yes.
But I mean, he's gonna have the quintessential Zod for I think a very long time. You know.
I'll go Donner cut.
I'm gonna go Donner cut.
Oh, I don't even have to make a choice. I don't even have to make a choice.
I didn't like the reason Batman and Superman were fighting.
Yes.
I didn't like the way it ended. I mean,
do we even need
we've made a meme with the Martha. Like that movie made a negative.
Murder.
I mean, even Deadpool pokes fun at it.
Yeah.
I don't think we even need to vote on the next one, do we?
I mean, we don't.
One? Batman Begins versus Jonah Hex.
Jonah Hex is it's a good watch. Okay.
It's all right.
It's a good watch, but let's be honest.
It's a good cast.
It's a good cast. It's a good watch. It is nowhere near close to as good as like Batman Begins. Batman Begins is
we'll probably get more into Batman Begins because that's gonna be a hell of a matchup when we get back up there.
Yeah, when we get back,
because I'm gonna have to do a little bit of back and forth in my head.
I mean, I have a huge favorite in this, but then so now we're gonna do Shazam versus Batman Returns. Okay,
so
now,
this is hard.
Okay. I can't believe I'm going to say this in public because I've literally only said this to one other person. As much as I love Michael Keaton,
you have sections about Danny DeVito as the Penguin,
and as much as I love everyone cast in this movie, Danny DeVito, Michelle Pfeiffer.
Sam. I think that's what he's going to do.
What you call it? Christopher Walken is in this movie. I mean, who doesn't love Christopher Walken?
He chews up the scenery. Oh,
I don't really like this movie.
Okay. Well, first of all,
I don't. There's just something about it.
It's such a great Christmas movie. First of all,
there's just something about Batman Begins I just don't like.
Well, since we're talking about Batman,
I'm sorry, Batman Returns.
Okay.
That I just don't like. I don't know what it is. It's flabbergasted me forever. I love everyone in the movie. I'll watch anything that everyone else is in.
Is it because Pee Wee Herman's Danny DeVito's dad in it? Does that just bother you? I think that's what's bothering you.
It throws me off, right?
It throws you off because
Could be.
How does Pee Wee give birth to such a demon bird, you know?
A demon bird.
So Batman Returns for me, I was in first grade, okay? Mm-hmm. And if you look back at it now, there were Batman Returns McDonald's toys and everything. But like if you look at this movie, if this movie came out today, it would, well, not that it would flop. It would not be aimed at children because it is a very dark.
It's dark.
Movie. It's very, very dark. And Michelle Pfeiffer, I was in love with her when I was 6 years old because she was Catwoman. Like I didn't even know what sexy was, but I knew whatever that was something, you know.
Yeah.
And this is actually. This is I love this movie. I absolutely love this movie. I love the whole Bruce having to deal with more so like the loss of his parents, especially around Christmas time. But you have the polar opposite. I love the dynamic they did with Danny DeVito's Oswald Cobblepot of like being the dark side of the coin of Bruce Wayne. The circus guys, you have the giant rubber ducky car, I
think that's what rubs me the wrong way.
But I thought you got to remember this was the time of the animated movie. That was like
animated series.
Animated series. I'm sorry.
This was like
that was iconic.
Like this was like
that was canon.
I love this movie, and actually the funny thing is, I just watched Shazam at work the other day.
Good job.
And well, I didn't pick it. It's such a good movie.
Yeah, I thought
Shazam
surprised
me.
Very well
like
done.
Zachary Levi, who a lot of people know from Chuck, who was great on Chuck.
Great show.
A fantastic show.
Great.
But like I would never have picked him for Captain Marvel. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like and people who don't know, that's what Shazam's name was originally. There was a big lawsuit between Marvel and DC. Now they just call him Shazam.
Yeah.
But he was originally Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
And because he's not that, you know, like, because ultimately Captain Marvel is just the magical version of Superman originally, is basically what he was.
Yeah, he's a magical rival to Superman.
Right.
He's got the one power that Superman can't compete with, and it's magic.
Right.
Yeah.
And
He's Earth's mightiest mortal.
Yeah.
exactly. But like, I love what they did with the Marvel family in this movie. Like,
Right.
it's such a feel-good family superhero movie.
Yeah.
Is which, like, even on the movie poster, it's Zachary Levi there in costume blowing bubbles with a bubble gum. Like,
Yeah.
and then at the end of that, you have the Superman little cameo.
I know. I wish it was the real Superman cameo, though.
I'm not sure I would have pulled the family trigger on the first movie.
Oh,
Maybe would have waited till the second.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
tease it at the end like they did a little bit, so it plays a bigger part.
Yeah.
Because you're gonna have The Rock's Black Adam coming out.
Unless they kind of, it depends on how the second one happens, and then everything.
So
with
I'm guessing
Shazam,
you're going
or everything
Shazam with this.
I'm gonna actually go
So
Shazam.
just a minute, you're going Shazam?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I fell in love with Shazam when I watched it. My son watched it with me, and he laughed the whole time. I was like, I did not expect this.
Yeah.
I was prepared to be disappointed with that movie.
Right. So
I mean, I had high hopes again because Zach, I'm a big Zach fan. You know, I want to watch whatever he's in because he's good. So
what's that under Batman Forever?
Superman Returns with what's his name?
Okay. Brandon Routh.
Brandon Routh.
The Bullet movie.
Huh?
The Bullet movie.
Yeah.
Bullet movie.
I'm going Batman Forever.
I'm going Batman Forever.
100%. Pains me to say, but 100%.
Yeah, I think he did well as I think Ralph. Did
He
well
he
as
was
Superman.
Christopher Reeves. Like,
He did.
if I wanted to cast Christopher Reeves, he did a perfect whatever bookend to the Christopher Reeves movies, because that's what they were going for. Like, it literally was a sequel to the Christopher Reeves movies. That's what it was.
It was and it wasn't. Like, it was, but...
And it just... That movie... the plot was absolutely god-awful.
Yeah, the plot it
ruined it.
wasn't big enough, as much as the much
Now-
grandiose
now
as they
does
tried to
our-
put in it. It just wasn't.
Does our
it felt
next
forced.
matchup?
Yeah.
Does our next matchup even count? Because Deadpool went back in time and killed Ryan Reynolds before it was ever made. So technically, Green Lantern isn't even there. Correct?
Yeah, but we still remember it.
Listen, Green Lantern got a bad rap.
I think it got a bad rap.
I
don't-
agree.
It wasn't...
I don't think it's as bad as I think it kind of it had the X-Men Origins Wolverine effect. It started out great and just didn't finish right.
So my
You know
issue.
what I mean? I didn't like what's his name. I didn't so much like how they did Parallax, although it was a cool take on it.
Right.
Because while Barry Allen's Flash is my favorite DC character, DC hero, all the Green Lantern stuff is my favorite storylines.
Oh, I agree.
Well, Green Lantern's in a lot of stories, too.
Like all the
I
all
love
the
what
Green
they
Lantern
did with
stuff all
what
together.
they did with the Green Lantern Corpse. I absolutely love.
That's all my favorite
My
stuff.
issue with this movie, and a lot of you guys might disagree, and as much as I love him, Ryan Reynolds is not Hal Jordan.
Really?
I'll go along with it. If anything,
Nathan Fillion should have been Hal Jordan.
Nathan Fillion absolutely
Because Hal
150% should have
Jordan,
been Hal Jordan.
Hal Jordan,
They'd still be going.
Isn't a wisecracking.
No.
He's sarcastic. He's cocky. He's kind of a dick, but he's a hero at the end. But he's not doing the Ryan Reynolds jokes like Ryan Reynolds does. He was almost like Spider-Man-esque
Right.
with the way he's shooting the one-liners.
While we're on it, and while we're saying it, so Nathan Fillion could have been either Hal or Guy. He could be. He could play either one.
Actually, I think
as
Ryan Reynolds would have played a better Guy Gardner than he did.
Actually, I think he'd be a better Kyle. I think he'd be the best Kyle because Kyle's funny. Kyle's probably one of the funniest, like naturally funny. But Ryan can also, if you've watched like stuff like Safe House, he can also do like kind of the more like serious torture.
If he would have been more serious,
artist type thing that he can do.
If Ryan Reynolds would have dialed himself down just a little bit with Green Lantern, I think it would have worked better. I think it just it was just off a little bit, and that's what people have an issue with the costume. Besides the
I thought
eyes,
the costume was sick.
besides the eyes, like besides
alone.
the CGI eyes and the costume looks fantastic.
Yeah, I mean,
Like,
I
I
didn't mind the
didn't-
eyes either. It's supposed to be changing their look. You know what I mean?
They could have went with a regular costume. No, the whole thing didn't have to be CGI.
You're right.
But
And then Birds of Prey.
I hated Birds of Prey.
I like Birds of Prey.
Birds of Prey was all right.
I thought it like that fight scene where Harley Quinn walks into GCPD, and actually their fight choreographer is the same guy who did John Wick.
Mm-hmm.
That fight scene, makes that whole movie for me. That was such a fantastic.
I think you have a Harley Quinn movie with some side actors, like.
Well, that's why it was
and then they
renamed.
tried to. Well, yeah, that's what I mean. Like when you're not even sure when it's coming to the theaters, you're like, oh, maybe we should change the name.
Yeah.
Like you went a different route than you thought you
It
were going.
seemed like they were just trying to rush.
They were definitely just, and that's DC's biggest problem is they're so far behind Marvel that they rush, and when they rush, they ruin it.
Oh, don't worry. We're gonna get to a lot of that later. I'm gonna go right into something about that in just a little while.
I'm picking Birds of Prey over Green Lantern.
I'm gonna go Green Lantern. I will watch Green Lantern before I rewatch Birds of Prey.
I'm also gonna go Green Lantern.
Okay.
So we're gonna go with that. My actual favorite scene. I know you said the fight scene in the station is mine. My favorite scene is actually where they're all laughing when they're in like the tower thing and they're like kind of just like joking around and like making like fun of each other. Like that's actually my favorite scene. Like because then it kind of breaks down. Like what's her name? Huntress is like
Mary
trying to
Elizabeth
be,
Winstead.
like, she's trying to be like super serious, and like the other one's like laughing at her, you know, like
Right.
pointing at her and laughing, you know. But I mean, still, I think Green Lantern over that. Okay. So then
Now we
we're
go to
gonna
round
back
two.
up and right into starting off with our seated ones.
Hang on, I'll just do this now.
The Dark Knight. Okay. All right.
100%.
Do we have we could, but do we have to talk about it? I mean,
I'm sure we're going to talk about it, but I don't think we need to talk about it here.
I am one of those people that I hate when people are just like, "Oh, this is the best." This and that. Like the second that the Joker movie came out, everyone was like, "Oh, Joaquin Phoenix is now the best Joker." Eat a dick. Okay, I hate that. All right, I hate like the comparison. They're different people, right?
Definitely.
So like, I love Jared Leto's Joker just as much as I love Heath Ledger's Joker.
as much
I
as
love Heath
I love Jack.
I like Heath Ledger better.
You know, and
100% better
so
Then who?
than Joaquin Phoenix.
Oh, 100%.
you know, like
Actually, Joaquin Phoenix is probably my least favorite.
yeah,
version.
it's. I mean, we can go into it. Was that movie good? Yes.
Well, we can go into it right now.
we can.
Losers or the Joker?
The problem is the Joker is a better movie than Losers.
Yes.
Because this is what it is. If you take
What am I going
If
to
you
watch
take-
first? The Losers.
if you take
I don't need
the
to-
very little DC Batman Joker references out of the Joker, it's still a fantastic movie about a guy who, especially from where we
mental illness.
Yeah, like
We've said this. You and I have had this conversation. The Joker is a great movie. He plays a great mentally ill person. It's very good. It's very interpretable. You could say this didn't happen, this happened. But it's not DC's Joker.
not at all.
At all. And even at the end, they're like, oh, maybe it's just like the precursor. It's a guy who inspired the Joker. Then it's still not the Joker.
It's still not the Joker.
But the Joker is a better movie than the Losers.
The Losers was a good movie. It actually was a good movie.
It's a fun movie.
It just doesn't have that normal DC feel to it. Like, they're not superheroes. It's the Expendables.
And the Joker doesn't have, like you said, that DC feel either. So here's where I'm weird. The Joker is a better film.
That's what I'm.
If you're going to ask me which one I'm just going to watch, I'm going to watch Losers first because Joker is an unsettling movie, but that's its point.
Right.
Its point is to make you feel like the reason people never want to talk about or deal with mental illness is because it's uncomfortable. Well, it's a human trait and we need to deal with it. And this movie really makes you deal with it and it all makes you feel uncomfortable. Well, that's the point. You know what I mean? All three of us work in mental illness. Like, what? you have to do. We deal with it on a daily basis.
Right.
Like,
This is how I'm dealing with it right now.
yeah, this is one of the things I do to deal with it. So I'm torn on which to pick because, again, the rewatchability of Losers for me is higher, but the Joker is a better
Because it's
film.
a better film, I'm going to vote Joker.
I'm going to agree. I would probably watch it. Well, it depends, too, because they're two very different films. The Loser's an action movie.
Yeah.
Joker is a serious kind of movie. But I think the Joker is a better film.
Yeah, yeah. So at least we're all on the same page in how to move forward with that. It's like, okay, Joker's better. I'd rather watch Losers because,
So our next one, Man of Steel versus Aquaman. Mitch, why don't you lead us off with this?
Listen, I don't know why Man of Steel got such bad raps.
Neither
it was
do I.
such a good origin movie.
Love it.
Love it. The way they portray him growing up and the way that Jonathan Kent says, suppress your powers, be normal when you can't be normal when you're that powerful, but he's still trying. That scene when that guy's bullying him when he's like 15 and he's holding onto the fence post and he doesn't kill that dude and he leaves and you realize he crushes that fence post. Like, it kind of shows you how much Superman to be Clark Kent. Like, it shows you that Superman is who he is and Clark Kent is the identity.
Well, and the thing is, with the same thing, the part that got me about that is when he's in the classroom in school and he's just hearing everything, and he can't control it, and Diane Lang has to come in and Clark, baby, listen to me, like that. It shows you what he has to go through just to pretend to be one of us.
Yep.
And this movie for me is arguably my favorite DC movie of all time. And I'm not a Superman person like you are.
Right.
I'm a Batman guy. And Henry Cavill is Clark Kent, is Kal-El, is Superman. And Diane Lang and Kevin Costner is Ma and Pa Kent. The whole Zod and Superman fight, everybody's like, Superman would never do that. This is him day one in the suit. Superman doesn't know what he can and can't do.
Yeah,
so he's fighting somebody with the powers that he has.
Yeah.
Of course he's gonna snap that dude's neck. He doesn't have the Phantom Jump. The dude
it wasn't that either, though. It wasn't
He's also a Kryptonian general.
Right.
He didn't kill a human. He didn't kill someone who's less powerful than him. He killed someone that's arguably more powerful than him.
He killed somebody who's trying to kill him. That was self-defense.
Well, it's not even that. It shows you the struggle. Like, he was trying not to kill him, and Zod was not going to give him the choice.
Zod was going to burn that family.
Yeah, it's me or everybody else. Like, I'm not going to, you don't kill me and I kill them, fine. But I'm not going to stop there. I'm going to go kill them too. And then I'm going to go kill them too.
I'm taking over this planet. That's what he's saying.
Pretty much. Like, there was no choice. And you see the internal struggle and what it does to Superman after he kills him. Like, realistically.
Which is why, when you said you didn't like the struggle in Batman versus Superman, I thought that made it make more sense because he has to kill Zod. He won't kill anybody else. So the fact that Batman is torturing people and burning the bat symbol into them, he doesn't like that, which is why he tells Batman to shut it down. You know what I mean? And I thought that made a lot of sense.
I get where they went with that struggle, but just. So have you ever seen Justice League All-Stars? Where they do the introduction with everybody, they're fighting, the mother boxes are appearing, and you have the Green Lantern and Batman flying together to go get Superman. And they have this iconic scene where Batman knows who Superman is because he's the greatest detective ever. And he says, hey, Clark, you don't kill. You're a Boy Scout.
Yeah.
And Clark does the whole X-ray and says, you're right, Bruce.
Yeah.
And it ends the fight. And then, you got Hal Jordan going, who's Clark? Who's Bruce? I don't know who any of you people are.
Right.
That made more sense because, the Batman versus Superman, you didn't know why Batman was fighting Superman. Because Superman doesn't initiate the fight with Batman. Even though he has the problem, Batman starts the fight.
The biggest issue with Batman versus Superman is, you touched upon it earlier. So, at that point, DC had Man of Steel.
Right.
Their follow-up to Man of Steel wasn't a solo Batman movie, wasn't Man of Steel 2, it was Batman versus Superman. So this was your introduction to Wonder Woman, to Batman. They
was a
rushed
push for
it.
Justice League.
There was no it was Justice League. Cuz you had Cyborg, you had Aquaman, and you had Flash all
you had bits of them.
And what this was they went from first base to home base, and they didn't have any foreplay in between.
Because again, they're trying to keep up with
Right.
Marvel.
And we all know what happens if there's no foreplay. Nobody's satisfied at the end, okay? All right, everybody's got to get there on their own time.
Right.
And that's the issue with it. So we've already talked about Aquaman. Man of Steel's better than Aquaman.
It is.
It is, but that's not to diminish Aquaman. But
Not at
Man
all.
of Steel is just.
Man of Steel's.
There's more to it. There's more structure. There's more about the character than there is in
Absolutely.
Aquaman.
The opening scene, amazing.
Oh yeah.
That's weird.
It might be delivery.
Could be. I don't know.
Okay.
Let them not. We're mid show. It's weird. But yeah,
All
I
right.
mean, Man of Steel, just better.
Donner cut versus Batman 89.
Batman.
89. All day, baby.
Yeah.
Batman. I mean, Nicholson. Nicholson.
Keaton.
Keaton.
Nipples.
Great.
All right, so now this is where this is going to be fun. Justice League, the Snyder's cut, not your theatrical version bullshit.
God.
Versus Batman Begins.
The Snyder Cut's a completely different movie.
100%.
100% a completely different movie.
The Snyder Cut is arguably, with Man of Steel, my favorite DC movie. And even though it's 4 effing hours long, it doesn't feel like it's 4 hours long.
Well, because it was supposed to be 2 movies.
Oh,
That's why it was supposed to be Justice League.
the
and Justice-
I'm
redesigns
waiting
of,
to unleash.
of Steppenwolf. You see Darkseid. You see that whole scene at the end where they're dealing with the alternate future. Like, you understand, like, why Barry comes back. Like, everything about this movie. It's what was supposed to be done.
And they made Steppenwolf who he is. He's a peon compared
Exactly.
to Darkseid. Like,
And-
he gets crushed.
And there was
Superman
no
just-
little Russian family in a shack in the middle of the field that needed to be saved. Like, everything about this movie was what should have been. I would have paid you $25 a ticket to go see the 4 hours in the theater. Like, this was a fantastic movie. It shut down anybody's doubt in Zack Snyder as a director. Like, 100%. Like, you didn't have fake mustache Superman. Like,
Oh, that was-
like, you didn't have all those stupid reshoots. Like, everything just fit and flowed, and it just blah. I finished.
Go.
Sure.
Yeah, you've been waiting patiently.
Okay. I was talking with Mike, who came on.
Yeah.
One of our past guests,
The intern stepped in.
and he told me before I watched it, the only thing he wanted to say was he thought it was the greatest superhero movie he's ever seen. And then I watched it, and then I agreed with him.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So that
This movie is so good.
I want to. Oh,
It's ridiculous. Okay, everything about it is and I think what possibly made it even better was that it's like I watched the theatrical version and I wanted to like it, but I couldn't.
I think all
And
of
I
us
think
felt that way.
because like prior, I mean, I know there's a lot of stuff going on with Joss Whedon and like everything with him like now, but like when he did Avengers, that was fine. Like Avengers is a great movie. I feel like he was like given extra money by Marvel to take over for Zack Snyder and sabotage this movie.
No.
Like
Warner Brothers handed
why
him
would you
a pile
not-
of money and gave him a list of this is what you're doing.
Well, the thing is,
like why take that over? Like I feel like, and I said like after it came out, I was like, I think Joss Whedon should be like put in jail for 60 days. What is going on? You know, he should be put in jail for 60 days.
you want
There's
me
no
to
way.
answer the door?
If you want to, yeah. I'll go on. It's everything about, like he said, everything about it is better. Every single thing. Like, they take out the whole, like, oh, there's the people in the Russian, you know, the field, like, that's all gone. Steppenwolf is shown to be, okay, he's very powerful, but everyone else that's there is more powerful than him. Everyone else that's waiting on him is way better. Just every other thing about it. It's a perfect movie. And if you were to watch the Batman vs. Superman Ultimate Edition right into this, I mean, that's going to be like almost 7 hours worth of movie, but you're going to have an insane experience that flows perfectly together. You know what I mean?
And that's
just
the thing,
from the
too.
second it started, from the second that the movie started.
The Snyder Cut is what we were teased. That was what the previews were for. That's what they showed us. And then what they delivered was not the movie they showed us.
No.
And I get it. They wanted this dude to finish out a movie and put his name on it. And Josh was like, listen, I want to kind of make this my own. But you didn't make enough of it. You didn't get into the story. You just kind of cut what you liked and threw in some of your own taste. And that's why it's not as good as the Avengers.
It
it's
tried
not
to
his
be
full movie.
Yeah, he tried to take what Zach had shot and make a new Avengers with it.
Yeah.
And that was not it's a completely different
The
movie
Justice League and the
feel
Avengers are
and film
completely two
and-
different teams.
and everything,
They are.
you know, and especially with what you had already set up from Batman or from Man of Steel to Batman versus Superman to every, like, you have different characters than
Joss
even
Whedon's not the one who set it up. That's
yeah.
why.
Yeah, that's
And
why.
He could have just swallowed his pride and just been like, listen, I don't really have to do much to this movie. He's got it almost done. I just got to polish it up.
Yeah.
And he didn't.
Well, I'm from things I've read that Warner Brothers and Zack Snyder were having issues about what Warner Brothers wanted and what Zack wanted. And when Zack's child had the untimely death and Zack walked away, they literally handed Josh Whedon, this is what you're going to do if you're taking this over. So I don't think it was so
I
much.
wouldn't have done it.
I don't think it was. But when they're offering you like $10 million to do it,
I still would like.
Yeah,
I
but
would,
that put a black mark on his record.
well, his
Especially when they released the Snyder Cut, everyone was like, yo.
that was the start of his downfall.
right.
I think he knew that he wasn't going to be marketable, so I think he took the money so he had something in the bank. But I want to touch on Batman Begins before we move on, and it just gets pushed.
Did you like Liam Neeson's
I
Roz?
loved. So with this movie,
Or the flip that he was actually Roz?
Yes.
Or because I was like,
so Liam Neeson's Ra's al
nice,
Ghul
nice Batman
was
Begins.
wonderful. I did not actually see this movie in the theaters because I wasn't excited about it.
Okay.
I wasn't excited by the trailer. I still had quite the sour taste in my mouth from Batman and Robin, which was purposely omitted from this bracket. I think I was just burnt out by it. And I remember it came out in DVD, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to watch this. And I'm so glad I did because it actually reignited like my love for Batman movies. Mm-hmm. I thought it was such a great grounded take of the Batman mythos. It introduced villains in a way that could almost logically happen, and it's something that stayed true during the whole trilogy.
Yeah.
I thought Scarecrow was a perfect villain to start it off because especially that original version of the Scarecrow is great, and it's such a good movie. The Snyder Cut's just.
It's going against the Snyder Cut. I mean, it's crazy hard to. Do you have anything you want to say about either of those, Mitch? Or
No, I think we've said just about all of it. I mean,
Now if we go down to Shazam versus Constantine, now we spoke about Shazam. I like the Constantine, like from the comics, especially if I think he had a great arc, and
The DC TV show's portrayal of Constantine is almost dead on.
Yeah, he's dead on, perfect to the comics.
that's why he's one of the few ones that transition into the movies.
Yeah, the comic book version of him, I think it was in the Forever Evil arc. I don't know if anyone ever read that. Was utterly fantastic. I mean, it was perfect. It's like.
I mean, the Constantine Hellblazer series since the 80s have always been good.
Yeah, and he was written to his perfection, especially in that Forever Evil arc. with saying that, all right, knowing that he's supposed to be a blonde Brit, okay? I don't care. Okay, I don't care because Keanu Reeves brings the exact perfect mentality to it.
He's the perfect American version of
Constantine. He's the perfect American because while being a brunette from LA instead of a blonde Brit. You know what I mean? Like he's perfect as he has the perfect attitude for it. And regardless of the fact that the story in Constantine is awesome, the action is amazing, all the subtle hints of stuff, you're like, if you actually like do the research and everything, it's like when the demons are flying and all the lights turn off, it's like, what did he light on fire? It's a piece of Moses' rope, or Moses' shroud. You know what I mean? Like, which, like, people might not know, but it's like, oh my God, that makes your brain explode even more. There's just all these things. The bowling alley scene in that movie I thought was fantastic.
What? The bowling alley scene in that.
Oh yeah.
And then you got a young Shia LaBeouf playing the taxi driver in that movie.
I forgot he was in it too.
Yeah. I love Constantine. I absolutely, besides the fact that Keanu Reeves is one of my favorite just human beings on the planet. Okay. The movie is fantastic. I think it's fantastic. I understand that the look is completely different. I don't care. It's an that good of a movie.
Yeah.
I love Shazam. I really, really do. I think it's such a great movie. I like Constantine more. Like,
I mean, they're very different movies. You have the comedy, you have the dark.
Absolutely.
I mean, but yeah, I mean that scene when the devil pulls the tar out of his lungs is like, if I can't have him, nobody can have him, because I know he's gonna fuck up again and I'll get him.
Yeah.
I was like, wow.
And also, another thing I found out was he was supposed to be in all like black leather and like all this stuff, and Peter Stormare was like, no, I should dress all in white and dip my feet in tar. And they were like, okay.
That was awesome.
The actor suggested that, and like, they're like, okay. And he was so great as him, like, because he was like, he like whispered, he didn't yell, and he was like, and he would like,
and you could tell there was a relationship between them. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, this wasn't conversation one. Like, I've been following you. I know you.
Yeah. Like, he talks about the spear of destiny. He's like, the spear of destiny. Like, like, he's like mocking Constant. Like, he's got all the time in the world to mock him because he's eternity. You know what I mean? So it's, I actually just recently watched it because it was on, because I have HBO Max. So, like, I was like, Constantine. I haven't watched this in a while.
So this next one's interesting for me. So, Wonder Woman, Batman Forever. Now, Batman Forever, I think we can all agree at the time wasn't just a movie coming out. It was a fucking event. Like, you had Seal's Kiss from a Rose. Like, it literally, like, you had, like, it was marketed to a way I didn't comprehend before this. Right. You know what I mean?
I mean,
and
just the poster that came out, the first poster that came out as the thing before we got anything else, before we got a trailer, before we got anything else, was the Batman sign with a question mark around it. That is all we got when we were kids. Yeah. And that's all we blew my mind. I walked into the theater. I was with my parents, I think, or at least with my dad. I walk in somewhere, and I was like, what? What is that? What is that? I need to know what that is. And they didn't tell you for a while. And then you finally got this. And yes, okay, he's recast, but it was Val Kilmer, which Real Genius is one of my top 20 favorite movies of all time. So I've always been a Val Kilmer fan.
He played a great Batman.
He did.
I liked him as Bruce Wayne. So I was. And
then you got
it's a
Jim
little
Carrey,
over the top.
Jim Carrey coming fresh off The Mask. And
he played such a good Riddler, though.
Yeah, he really, like...
I would have never thought that. Like, looking at who he is now,
you would think he'd be he would have been Joker,
but he transitioned into the Riddler and made it this comedy smart guy.
Tommy Lee Jones, like, I know he doesn't do a lot of comedy things. Like, he did that one where he's the U.S. Marshal with the sorority chicks. and I think
Yeah.
like
He's good in
his portrayal
he's
of
stone-faced, but good
Harvey
in Men in
Dent,
Black.
which part of me, and I know because they actually have a Batman '89 comic that's
Yes.
running up, and they went back to the Billy D. Williams that was teased in the first Batman as Harvey Dent, but I thought he was fantastic, and like when you got the scene where he's got his hideout and it's half and half, and you got like Drew Barrymore on one side as the good chick, and then the chick who was the bad chick in Beethoven 2 was on the other side. Like it just, and then like the scene where they like take over the Batmobile and like
the remote control.
and that that Batmobile out of those, like I love that Batmobile.
That Batmobile has become iconic.
Like that, I love that Batmobile, and you have the introduction of Robin, and it
Chris
just.
O'Donnell did a good teenage,
Yeah.
Do you know who originally was supposed to be Robin in the series?
in that movie.
I don't know if it was in that movie or if it was supposed to be in Batman Returns.
Was it Christian Slater?
No.
No. Well, I'm thinking it's maybe.
And they've actually introduced him as Robin in that same comic book series. Marlon Wayans.
Really?
Marlon Wayans was originally supposed to be Robin.
Huh.
Yes.
Wow.
Just picture how different that would have been.
I mean, it would have been awesome.
I think it would have been interesting.
Yeah.
Like,
He was. I mean, was he even younger than Chris then at that time?
I'm sure. I'm
Or
sure.
right around. Oh, they were.
Well,
right.
if
I
he
think
was
they're
younger than him at
comparable in
this,
age.
I'm sure if he was younger
I'm
than
also
him then,
thinking-
he probably still younger than him now, maybe.
No. That's not what you know what I'm saying.
But like, it for when I was a kid, this was my favorite Batman movie. As I got older, obviously my tastes and appreciations changed.
Yeah. But Wonder Woman.
Wonder Woman, in my
Wonder
opinion,
Woman.
is damn near perfect for a Wonder Woman movie.
She is now, but when they cast her, I was upset.
I definitely was kind of like WTF because the only things
I wasn't worried about it because I trusted what she said. Because somebody asked her at a press event, well, Wonder Woman is, and they weren't attacking like, the fact that she's like Israeli or anything like that. They're like, they've attacked the fact that she was pretty skinny.
Yeah, she was
And
right.
everything. They're like, she's supposed to be like this Amazon, and she just went, I can work out. And that was it. I was like, you win.
Yeah.
I'm already in. I'm already like just because she had the attitude just to say I can work out.
And
What are
she
you talking
did
about?
it, and now she is who you picture when you think of Wonder Woman.
100%.
It's
Like, it's
the sliding across the floor that in the
everything about
bangs
her.
that ding, ding, ding. Like, dude,
It was a great movie, full of action.
dude, Chris Pine, like, I think he's probably the most underrated actor that is out there right now. Because anything this dude is in, he just crushes it.
Yeah. Actually, you know what? He'd be a good Hal Jordan.
Well, he actually.
It's too bad.
He would have been
We
absolutely.
may get another
perfect.
shot at Hal Jordan if they actually.
Oh,
come
we
out with
will.
Lantern Corps.
They're coming out with the Green Lantern Corps TV series.
It's supposed to be on HBO, but that was supposed to be in the works for like 8 years now.
Yeah, I mean, they've been talking about that since Green Lantern the movie came
So
out.
where are we going with this, guys?
I'm going Wonder Woman. I think it's still a
That's
better
actually my
movie.
vote also. So
As much as I do love
The nostalgic.
Batman Forever. I love it. I do.
I don't think we need to vote on the next one.
No, Superman. The first Superman. It's still it's better than it is.
All right, so now we got Batman and Joker versus Joker. So I'm just gonna write Dark Knight down.
It's still Dark
Got
Knight.
my vote.
Okay.
I mean, do we have to talk about it? It's still Dark Knight.
If you'd have put Joker up to much more than losers, it probably would have lost.
Yeah.
All right, now this isn't interesting. Batman '89 versus Man of Steel.
Well, I mean, you know where my heart lies.
So he's going Man of Steel.
I just love Man of Steel. I can watch that movie once a week.
Go ahead,
Is
Garrett.
it between us? I don't like this. I don't like this one. Where
See,
you go?
like, I don't know if
what
you
do you
if you go
got?
back and watch the shows,
I'm out.
Garrett like sitting back in the clutch, hoping the other two people vote the same,
I
so he
really
doesn't
do.
have to make a choice.
I'm a Libra, okay? I don't like having
he is Switzerland of this podcast most of the time.
All right. There are certain things.
Tell you what,
There's
I'll
certain
go-
movie. There's
Garrett,
certain movie
Garrett,
hills I will die on for certain things.
I'll go Batman '89.
Damn it. Of course you will. Look at your shirt. Oh man. Okay. For sake of other things that I'm going to push forward, as much as I love
Before you go, we
as
haven't
much
even...
as I love Man of Steel, and I will agree to everything that we talked about it and stay, I'm going to push Batman 89 ahead in this category because my quintessential everything that had to do with Man of Steel and everything is in Justice League Snyder Cut.
Okay.
So, and because I think Justice League Snyder Cut is better than just Man of Steel, I'm gonna push that ahead. Again, as much as I love Constantine, we got Justice League Snyder. It's up against Snyder, and it's not gonna win.
Superman vs. Wonder Woman.
The original Super was it 79?
Yeah.
78, I think.
It was right around there. I mean,
versus the new Wonder Woman. I mean, it's
hard because there's such
iconic.
a time difference between them.
Really
could you
is.
imagine if they use Superman
40 years
now?
Yeah.
78.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, 78.
Like you would have a completely different movie.
You'd have Man of Steel.
Yeah.
You know,
I'll go Wonder Woman.
it's got to be Wonder Woman.
It's got to be Wonder Woman, but
It's
only
a
because
better film.
only
It's just
because
a
of
better
the
film.
time, though.
Yeah.
Could you?
Yeah.
Wonder Woman back then would not have held the light.
No, it wouldn't have held a candle to
Right.
to the, you know, and just in the way they would have done it. The character, sure, fine, but the character had to also grow in the comics to then grow in the movies.
Right.
Because it was still looked at as that campy, you know, invisible jet spin in a circle thing. No, like Wonder Woman.
Kind of had the same rap as
Wonder
Aquaman.
Woman, they had, like Wonder Woman will like, she's like one of the 3 strongest heroes on the planet. It's like, and
goes toe to toe with Superman.
it goes toe to toe with
Beats the
Superman.
crap out of Aquaman.
What other people like don't know is like in the comics too. Like Superman has said, "I'd prefer to not be punched by Aquaman." You know, like that's the strongest person on the planet fighting everybody else. That he does. So those are arguably the 3 strongest heroes. You know what I mean? And one of them is Wonder Woman.
So
And
just
it
for
had
the
to-
sake
had
of
to
staying
go
on the
through
side
all
of the
that.
board, I'm assuming the Snyder Cut's going to beat Wonder Woman.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we have The Dark Knight versus Batman 89.
It came to this. It was always going to come to this, wasn't it?
That I mean,
The movie that, like...
you're kind of in the same boat as you were with Wonder Woman versus Superman. I mean,
You
they're
are.
both great movies, but the time difference is so different that you got to do so much more with Dark Knight that you didn't get to do with the original Batman.
I'll go 89. I'll go 89.
I'm torn between my nostalgia and
And I'm leaning to my nostalgia because I know Justice League is winning this, regardless of what happens.
I think if we're gonna just for the sake of putting it up against Justice League, I think I got to go Dark Knight because I think it's got a better chance
man.
against Justice League.
I still like.
What you
I
got,
know where I'm
champ?
going in the next one, but like,
I think that's
Where you going, champ?
I love Keaton and Nicholson, but Dark Knight is a better. It's a better film in and of itself. The way Nolan directed it, but again, coming to the final.
you're just writing that in there.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not wrong.
No,
I know where I'm going.
Are we 3 on that? Are we 3?
Yeah,
on
I think
Snyder
so.
Cut,
The
though,
Snyder Cut
does beat The Dark Knight.
And it's crazy to think, like, if you'd have put the other Justice League up there,
It would have like
it wouldn't have even made first place.
that,
There's so many movies
that
that would have.
Catwoman would have like been.
Losers could have beat that.
I mean,
okay?
it might have still be Catwoman. I mean,
yeah, but losers could have beat it.
it
you
could
know?
have, yeah. You would have had a solid argument there. Like, there were so many problems with the original one, but the Snyder Cut, man, it answered all the questions we had.
I mean, just the Joker, the new end scene with like the Joker and everyone else, that like the only people that are left.
Yes.
You got your
You know,
you got your Joe
the random
Manganiello
people that are left.
Deathstroke,
I got to
but,
see
yeah.
more of my Jared Leto. And the original Justice League left us disappointed. Snyder Cut left us wanting another one.
Right.
Yeah.
That
I mean,
100%.
the internet decided that Snyder Cut was the definitive one, and has been demanding that WB
Make it canon.
make it canon and continue it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Like, that's crazy.
And actually, the other thing that I loved about Snyder Cut too, Black Suit Superman.
black
did.
suits.
I would have liked long haired too.
Yeah, yeah.
You know?
Like the whole '90s mullet and everything.
Yeah,
That was great. Yeah.
I mean, I wasn't crazy about the way they brought him back, but
Yeah.
I mean, you have to do something different. You have to do something quick.
Absolutely.
It's a movie. You know, you can't do
Plus,
a whole series.
he wasn't dead as long. Too.
True,
You
very
know what
true.
I mean, if he had been dead for like 6 months,
Right.
long hair. You know,
Right.
but he was dead for like a week, not even.
No, it was longer.
No, it was longer than that.
Actually, I think it was like 6 months.
I think
Did
I think it was
they
like
do
6
it?
months to a year because
Yeah.
you got to
Oh, they
remember
might have, yeah.
they're going and recruiting everybody during
That's
that time.
right,
They
yeah.
didn't show that very well though.
Yeah. No,
they didn't.
no.
They didn't really talk about the time
so
lapse. I don't think they wanted
One
to.
of the original versions of the script for Snyder's Cut, which I thought would have been a cool dynamic, was that in the time that Superman was dead, Lois and Bruce start a relationship. And when he comes back, he hears a heartbeat in her stomach. And that Lois is pregnant with Bruce's baby. That was one of the original.
I don't think I would have liked that.
Oh,
No.
dude, like that would have been.
You say that was one of the originals? No, it wasn't.
don't-
That was after the original.
No.
I don't
In the
like
original
hearing that.
script, when they were originally shooting, that was one of the original ideas that was
I would have
early on.
I wouldn't have liked that.
Before shooting was.
I probably would have left right there.
Yeah. But also,
I think it would have been kind of cool if they would have like banged, not necessarily her got pregnant, but like if there had been a relationship.
No,
with
because they're
Lois.
so different. Bruce Wayne is so arrogant and cocky, and
Not the real Bruce. And if they're both mourning the death of Clark and Lois is very vulnerable, I
yeah,
can
but
see
he
some-
barely even knew Clark. He met him for 10 minutes. He found out his mom's name and he died.
yeah.
Martha, like they had a bond forever.
Yeah, but I hate that Bond.
Yeah. The other thing too, Martian Manhunter.
Yeah.
So like
So, that originally-
Martha leaves and it's actually Martian Manhunter. I marked out. So I paused it, stood up, and I was like, "Yes,
That's not what it was originally supposed to be.
yes!" I was so
That
excited.
originally supposed to be Green Lantern, and he couldn't get the Warner Brothers clearance because they're doing the Green Lantern show.
I know.
That originally was supposed to be
That
Hal
worked
Jordan.
out. That worked out.
100%.
Yeah, but I
like
almost
that
liked
better.
I almost liked Martian Manhunter better.
Yeah, I do
better.
too.
Oh.
It fits in that spot better.
It just did, and if anyone knows, you know how awesome John Jones is. Oh God,
Oh, yeah.
just I can't. That's why I want to see more of that, just to see what they do with Martian Manhunter.
Oh, 100%.
You know what I mean? Like, and the guy
Actually,
who plays him is the voice.
Everything
is
they've done with
perfect.
him on the Supergirl TV show has been wonderful, so I can only
Yeah.
imagine how good it would be
Yeah,
cinematically.
Absolutely.
yeah.
But
absolutely.
Mitch, it was good having you here.
It was great being here.
Come
That
back
was a lot of
anytime you
fun.
want. All right, it's been a
definitely.
pleasure. I just want to have a little talk with Garrett after. I know you got places to go. Places
Yep, I
to
got a
be.
few appointments.
And it was very nice having you on here.
Yeah, man,
Anytime you want to come back,
we appreciate it. Yeah.
it was good seeing you, buddy. Thanks for being here.
Oh yeah, man. Again, thanks for coming. We super appreciate it. So,
So,
what do you want to talk about?
well, first, thanks to our sponsors. Without you guys, we wouldn't be able to. I have a question for you because it's been kind of bothering me the last couple weeks.
Shoot, buddy, what's up?
How did you do that grim shit?
What are you talking about?
Like the videos and like showing up in my house and all that other stuff. Like I still can't figure out how like
Joe.
you were in Troy and at my house.
because
How
I-
you were hacking in.
No, no, really, I didn't do that. That was literally not part of anything I did.
you said you're like the mastermind.
Yeah, no. I explained
but-
everything I did to you. I explained the whole thing. That stuff. I assumed that was still you, so you just had more reasons to keep attacking me.
Okay, first of all, I'm not. Let's be honest. I'm not smart enough to come up with anything like that to orchestrate.
I mean, it wasn't. It literally wasn't like on my. Someone came right into the whole feed. Like I have.
Well, obviously it wasn't like me because I was sitting here every single time it happened.
Yeah. But like you accused me, I thought somebody else had the ability to chime in, but no, that was not me.
So you're saying there's somebody else out there that is messing with us?
I mean,
Is that what you're alluding to?
I mean, honestly, like I kind of forgot about it because
I don't do this. Shit's haunted like my nightmares and shit.
Well, I guess he did show up to your house, but I've been sitting pretty over here as
like
champ.
I had to go out and buy like a
So-
Ring camera.
What the hell was?
What?
Yo, What the?
What?
Yo, what the? Dude, what's going on over there? Hey. Joe? Joe? I can't see anything behind over the. Hold on. We get a light back on here.
What the hell is going on? What the hell? Huh? Yo, what the? What's happening? What the hell? Yo, what? Yo. All right, who the hell are you? Oh.
Joe may be the champ. Garrett might be the mastermind. But I'm disruption.